So this is a book club. I recently moved to Slovakia. It was due to circumstances, and I had brought no books with myself because I had very limited, only one bag. So I already bought some books, some already read, some no, and I just want to show you what I bought. Alice в країні за Krakow. It's one of my favorite books, Alice in Wonderland. However, I bought it because I would like to improve slightly my Slovak. Actually, I do not know Slovak, but because I know Ukrainian, Russian, I understand a lot. However, it's still a different language, so I thought it would be interesting exercise. Maybe I would learn some words, some phrases, and what I can say, it has ugly cover. It's bilingual book, by the way, English and Slovak. I do not know what was the decision here because the illustration inside are just gorgeous. I have no idea what was the decision with this cover. Next one is book I haven't ever heard before. I haven't seen it before. It's called My Cat Yugoslavia. I really paid attention to it due to the really pretty cover. There is cat, there is snake, there is cat is talking. And it's story about mother, and like it's two stories in parallel, one of mother, one of the son. And mother, like girl, is married really early. She's from Yugoslavia, and then I think they had to immigrate to Finland. And in parallel, we see a story of her son when he is already an adult. He's gay. He bought a snake recently, like in first chapter. I read just first chapter, and I usually not big fan of immigration stories and so on because usually they lot of struggles, there are a lot of suffering. However, so far I'm enjoying it, and I hope it wasn't the case of pretty cover and nothing else. Then it goes Murakami. I really like Japanese literature actually. I think recently one cat disappeared from the world. Absolutely recommend, by the way. And I was avoiding Murakami while he's so popular because he's quite problematic, I know. He's a bit sexist, he was writing women weirdly. So yeah, however, I heard really good reviews from blogger I really trust. Jack Edwards, I think his name. So I decided to give it a try. However, I also heard that his books are quite different. So this is not magic realism. And I know that Kafka on the Shore is magic realism. So I think I will also buy that and will read it also. Despite whatever I will think about this one. So, next one is truly green. I want to get more into ecology, sustainability, and so on, and I know a lot really. Where mostly I learn from like YouTube channels, articles, something like that, and it's like a lot of weird information floating in my head, like what the most sustainable, and it's complex. Problem like for example glass is quite sustainable but only if you recycle it, and you cannot recycle it I think if it's dirty or with basically like if you do not recycle it it's actually worse, or like there are a lot of fabrics, or being vegan is really good for environment but vegan leather is might be less environmentally friendly than the real leather, like there are a lot of questions in all this, and this is basically a book where each like 2 chapters approximately they answer different questions, like which natural fabrics are the most eco-friendly, or is there a greener way to manage my periods, or is it okay to buy plastic wrapped fruit and veg, and so on. So I bought it to read and then to use as like guide when I question something. Then book that I noticed because it's pretty, and actually it reminded me another series that I heard recommended, Winters, like it's the first season for books. I have no idea what it's about, but Lena Norms, I think, was reviewing it in one of her older videos, so it's not that book, by the way. So this book is something like memoirs with the guy. He's a painter artist, and he's retired, and he moves to suburbs, not suburbs, rural area, I think, in France. And there's also some conversations here with his friend art critic. I'm not sure how are they living together or they just talking a lot, because and it's full of illustrations and his art and what it's basically it's how to take inspiration from life and nature and art. So I read like the first few pages, and usually I do not like to read memoirs because they like today the sky was blue, and actually it's the beginning of one of the chapters, something like that. But it seems like really interesting, and like first few pages I read intrigued me. So I hope it won't disappoint it, and it's all again not a choice, pretty cover. Books that I already read, and I actually have a review on my channel. Everyone talked about that, this book, and everyone said that it destroyed him. It's yes, and I didn't want to read it because I do not like to suffer. However, I gave it a try in terms of challenge, where one of the prompts was a book I wouldn't normally read. And I read it. It's a great book. I gave it, I think, 4 stars. However, I do not think I want to read it again because it was sad. It was sad. One of my new favorites, Piranesi. It's one of those books you can't actually tell much without spoiling, and it's one of those books that you do not want to spoil. So yeah, I think everyone saw it on BookTube, TikTok, and so on. It's amazing. Absolutely recommend. Also have a video talking about this book. Continuing of my path to learn more about environment and sustainability, We Are the Weather, Saving the Planet Beginning Breakfast. I'm not sure why, but for some reason it feels like it wouldn't be the book I choose myself, one of the first to read on the topic. However, it was highly recommended by Alina Norms. She's a booktuber, really famous, really great. And it was one of her favorite books in 2021, I think. So I decided to give it a try. I haven't started yet. Then, Raven and Other Selected Poems by Edgar Allan Poe. I wanted to start reading more poetry. And modern poetry, not that it's necessarily bad, but it's really hard to find something good, because poetry sounds like grief. It's in your heart, not your mind. Like, it's not a poetry. So yeah, I decided to start from something more classic, and Edgar Allan Poe is highly recommended by Jack Edwards, a booktuber who I really trust, and I watched a YouTube video on how The Raven is such a great poem, like it's masterpiece. Just Google like why Raven is great, and you will find like a lot of videos talking about this topic. So yeah, and the last one, also one of I made a video about it. I read it 2 days ago, like in 3 hours. Absolutely amazing. Everyone is talking about it, and it took so many people out of slums. So many people enjoyed reading it. So absolutely agree. It was the reason I bought it, because of so many great reviews, and it absolutely didn't disappoint me. I don't know, I already forgot how to speak. So that's all for now. No, one more book. I also bought, it was first book I bought actually in Slovakia. It's Emma. I was avoiding reading it because I thought it was some cheesy romantic and everyone is suffering and it's like boring, melancholic. However, the last movie, it was so bright. I actually haven't seen it. I saw people talk about it and people and trailers. So yeah, it inspired me to read it. I less than half in, however, amazing. Absolutely recommend. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't finished, but it's great. So that's all for now. I plan to buy maybe a few more books or maybe read them online because I read at least a few of these books. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.